If you haven't been to our channel before, we're Oliver Smith Jeweler, a family-owned watch and jewelry business with over 42 years in the business. You can find us in Scottsdale, Arizona, in Aspen, Colorado, and also online. I'm Elizabeth with Oliver Smith Jeweler. I'm here today with Oliver, who's over 40 years experience in the diamond industry, and we're covering a hot topic: should you buy a real or a lab-grown diamond?
So natural diamonds are formed in volcanic pipes. That's the only place on the earth where the temperature is high enough and the pressure is intense enough to form diamonds from carbon. Now, the diamonds will be found sometimes still in the volcanic pipes where they have to be mined out.
Right.
And sometimes they're in alluvial deposits, which in the case of some African countries are on the coast and they have to dredge the alluvial deposits out. So it's very expensive and very time consuming to pull diamonds out of the ground. Mm-hmm. And synthetic diamonds are man-made. So they are made in a lab in the same formula of high temperature and high pressure. So what's the difference between a natural diamond and a synthetic diamond? Well, technically nothing is different about the two. They're both formed the same way. But you could say that about a Louis Vuitton bag too, right?
A real versus fake.
They're both made out of leather. They're both made by hand, but one is considered to be a fake. Mm-hmm. And this is where it gets very interesting for diamonds, because nobody uses the term fake diamond. They use a synthetic diamond. Well, they're trying to market it.
Right.
So like in the 80s, they came out with emeralds that were man-made too, and This was a real upsetting thing for the industry. Many people got very nervous about it, especially emerald dealers, thinking that the emerald market was going to crash and the prices wouldn't be able to sustain it because of these synthetic stones. Well, after about 5 or 10 years, which parallels right now with the synthetic diamond business, these emeralds just disappeared and the price went down. The price continued to go down over the 10 years, and pretty much everybody knew that it was a fake emerald.
Right. What do you think has made them so popular, lab-grown synthetic stones, over the last couple of years?
Well, because people are kind of into what's new and what's the latest and greatest, I think, from that standpoint. And this is an opportunity for the first time in the last 5 to 10 years to be able to buy bigger stones. We'd always produced synthetic diamonds that were very small and not really gem quality that were used in technology. But this was the first time they were able to create a lab stone that was big enough to be able to be worn in a piece of jewelry from that standpoint. So, 5, 10 years ago, these prices were, let's say, $10,000 for a stone, and a natural stone was $20,000. Well, now that $10,000 stone is $2,000.
It's dramatic. I would say over the last couple of years, the synthetic market has dropped 50% in value.
At least. Mm-hmm. So what we're talking about here is value from that standpoint. If you're risk adverse, I'd stick with the natural diamonds because the value has always been there. It's been difficult sometimes to be able to sell a diamond from that standpoint when you talk about being able to realize some appreciation on it. But usually if you hang on to a stone for 10 or 20 years, when you go to sell it, you get a great opportunity to actually even have a return on your investment, besides the romantic part of it, which is why you gave someone that diamond. There are people that do invest in diamonds strictly from an investment standpoint, and that's for another video. Today we're just talking about the romantic side of it, but we're also including this value proposition into it, which I think is extremely important. Right. So I'm not a big believer in synthetic diamonds. We don't sell them. I just came back from a show talking to a bunch of industry experts about it and the way the prices have fallen. I'm seeing a lot of parallels in here with other synthetic products that have kind of infiltrated our industry over the years. And I don't think it's going to last. I think that it's going to be very, very inexpensive to buy a synthetic stone. I think the prices have fallen by 50%. I think they're going to continue to fall until they just basically destroy this whole synthetic market and then everyone will go back to the natural stones the way we've done it for so many, so many years.
I want to circle it back to when you're talking about buying like a fake versus a real Louis Vuitton bag. At the time, it might seem worth it because you can get the fake bag for a lower price, right? So you're saving money. But then in the end, the fake one has no resale value. And that's what we're seeing in the synthetic market. They're holding no value. In actuality, it's crashing quite a bit. So it appears to be a complete waste of money as far as long-term play.
Yeah, I just don't see any realistic long-term play there for a synthetic stone.
What I think a lot of people don't talk about too, let's talk about the ethics behind it. I hear a lot, with natural diamonds. Oh, they, blood diamond, the topic of a blood diamond was really big a couple years ago, where they're coming from versus lab grown. Let's discuss that a little bit with the Kimberly process, how natural diamonds are graded now, and then also how much energy and resources lab grown diamonds take.
Yeah, many of us in the industry have joined this crusade to make sure that our diamonds are sourced ethically. There's quite a few members of the mining community that make their living by mining for gems and diamonds. And so we really want to be able to support them and support the ethical trading of diamonds from that standpoint. So there are some organizations that we can belong to, and there's things we can do. Now there's been some push towards blockchain identification for diamonds, which is going to be a big push over the next 10 years, so that you'll be able to see exactly where your stone came from and exactly how many hands it went through to get to you from that standpoint. So the industry is very aware of what's happened and transpired in the past, and the journalistic sensationalism of something like blood diamond in order to sell movie tickets is way, way different than the industry is being vetted by those of us that purchase diamonds and things like that. And your generation, which is coming in, that doesn't want to be associated with any unethical sourcing of stones.
Right.
So we're actually buying a lot of stones from our clients back again from the last generation or the generation before. So then we're talking about values, and then we can recut those stones, we can reintroduce them into the market, we can keep them, the jewelry, out of the landfill. I mean, when somebody comes into me and says, hey, I just bought this costume piece of jewelry for $3,000 to wear to the ball, in 10 years that piece of jewelry, costume jewelry, is going to be in the landfill. Whereas if you buy something that's really natural and the materials can be used again and the gold can be used again, I mean, we're doing our best to buy that up. If we do tear it apart, we tear it apart and we reuse it from that standpoint. So there's a lot of good reasons why you want to really work with natural materials, because they can be used again and again and again.
That's a great point. Let's talk too, I think there's a lot of questions about how you can tell the difference between a synthetic versus a real diamond, or can someone with the naked eye, how could they figure out if it's lab grown or real?
I haven't seen as many to be able to tell personally, but from what I read, it's not possible to be able to tell with the naked eye. We do have a machine that we use to test the stones to make sure that they're natural and not synthetic, especially when we get them from like a new vendor or somebody we haven't worked with, or Mrs. Jones comes in to sell us a piece of jewelry that she doesn't use anymore, and she wants to sell it to us. We'll put that in to make sure that we know that it's natural material versus synthetic from that standpoint. So there's equipment that even a small jeweler can afford to buy to be able to tell the difference from that standpoint. But yeah, you can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference between the Louis Vuitton, the real one, or the fake one.
The good fake ones,
right?
Yeah. Well, I think we covered everything. If there was a question we missed that you have about lab versus real diamonds, leave in the comments below. We'll make sure to check and answer your questions. And you can visit us in Aspen, in Scottsdale, and online. Thanks for watching.